all about helping you on Saturday morning get that extra something something to help you move forward in your real estate wholesaling, real estate investing business. That's right, getting those property deals under contracts. What it's all about. Got to get those contracts. Got to get them contracts. We want to answer any questions you have today. We want to work with you. We want to help you. This is a public Q&A that Real Estate Wholesalers Club does every week at Saturday, 10 a.m. Central Time. And you can join us by visiting www.zoomjustin.com. And the password, if it asks for one, money. Money is the password. But it won't cost you any money. This is totally free Q&A. You don't even have to be a part of the VIP club to be a part of Saturday's sessions. And we're glad you're here. We're glad you're here. I've got some extra goodies planned for you today, but I'm still waiting on him to show up. We've got a special guest here waiting. We're waiting on a special guest today. And well, I do see some dignitaries in the room. And let's see here. We've got Jerry Smith. He's a dignitary. We've got Michael Batista. He's a dignitary. What's going on, man?
Hey, buddy. And just excited for the show here. And I said, we gotta wrap things up. We go for a walk every morning. And I said, we got to wrap things up. I got a show today.
Yo, wrap it up. Yeah. Got to get a little pep in your step. Get back to the
Put my ass up the stairs. That's what it is.
Well, it's great to see you. And today we want to talk about, well, there's a lot of great people here. First of all, we have Jaime here under the name Vanessa. Kenny Wright, he's another dignitary. How did I get surrounded by such brilliant minds? I don't know, but I did somehow. Rudolph, say it again, Kenny.
You're being too kind, but thank you.
Yeah, I don't know. You can pay me later if you want.
I'm just trying to scratch out a cornbread living, man.
Okay, my PayPal address is lowpricedbargainproperties@gmail.com. It's good to see Rudolph and Larry and David and Aisha and Rick. Rick is an awesome guy, super powerful knowledge. Greg is here, Dion is here, but we also have a lot of folks out there watching. God bless you. Thank you for joining us. You could be doing a lot of things, but you're not. You're doing this right here. And I've got a special treat for you today. Michael Batista invited a Mr. Nicholas Nick. There you go. Does anybody, Nicholas Nick, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
Man, I'm doing great. Lead Mining Pros. Is that right?
That's right, baby.
Yeah. So you're gonna blow our minds today with your lead gen abilities. Is that what's gonna happen?
Dude, so many minds are gonna be blown. You're gonna need a towel, to say the least.
Woo! We're gonna need a towel, honey. Get a towel. Get a towel.
Get a towel. We need it.
I want to towel down.
Good. And if it looks like I got a trash can that needs to be changed out over there too. Look at that bad boy in the background.
Yeah, that's all right. It's
good.
That means
Nick, thanks for being here, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Are those the bad leads?
Yeah, exactly. Those are actually the bad customers. There's no such thing as a bad lead.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly.
And he'll just throw it behind his back. He won't even look. Bam.
That's right. And another one. I'm like DJ Khaled up in here.
That's great. Well, it's great to have you here, Nicholas Nick. I'm very thankful for your time, man. I know it's valuable. I know you have some things you want to share with us today, but maybe we should start out with you telling us a little bit about yourself. And for those of us here in the room and watching all around on social media, if they don't know who you are, Nicholas Nick, I mean, tell us a little bit. What's Lead Mining Pros? What is this? I mean, where'd you start? Where'd you come from?
Yeah.
How's it work and what it do?
Yeah, absolutely. So I hope you guys are ready for this. But yeah, so basically, a little bit about my background, I'll keep it short, is I was a restaurant manager for 17 years. in a couple past lives ago. I did that for a while. And then after that, I became an executive.
I think it's interesting. I'm sorry to interrupt you, man, but I came from the service industry too. And I think it's interesting how the service industry prepares you a little bit for this work here of real estate investing.
Absolutely.
Because you got to have that what is that je ne sais quoi, that little social aptitude, like
emotional intelligence, if you will.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Right. Yeah, no doubt
You
about it.
develop a lot of people skills in the restaurant business. That's actually, it's funny. That's what I did too for a couple of years. So,
that's kind of what it takes. In order to do lead generation, you have to really be able to penetrate their emotions, right?
oh yeah.
Man, that's huge.
Yeah,
I'm gonna write this down.
Yeah,
Hold on.
Yeah, no doubt, and that's one of the main things we teach for our cold callers, people that we hire. I always say this. I got this one-liner I give to my team. If you think about what you're going to say next, you're always going to say the wrong thing. If you think about what the seller is going through, then you're always going to say the right thing. Sometimes when we're talking to people, we're so consumed with our bank account and our profits and our deals and our comps that we're like accidentally shitting all over the seller.
Wow. Man, I preach it, dude.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I've learned this from experience, right? The same thing. I'll share a restaurant story. I remember one time someone goes, "Nick, table 42 wants to see you." And I walk up, "Hey guys." And the guy says, "What the fuck are you smiling about?" I am not smiling anymore, sir. Tell me what happened, right? And what I learned was I met his energy differently than him, right? I was in a great mood. I was consumed with my own experience at the time, and I wasn't able to really get through. So, true story, from that day forward, when I had a server come up to me, I said one thing: "Nick, table 42 wants to see you. One question: are they smiling or frowning? That's all I want to know."
Yeah.
And then I would just match my face to whatever they were experiencing. So it's kind of like that. And lead generation is the same exact way. We have to be on pace with them. And for us restaurant people, I could use a few great analogies. For those who go into a restaurant and you see a hostess or a host and they walk you to your table, okay, they're supposed to walk with you, but we've all been there where she's like 20 feet ahead and you're like, where the hell did she go? I don't even know. I don't know where I'm supposed to go anymore.
Right.
Well, lead generators or real estate investors can have that same bad habit with their leads. They're not moving at the pace of the lead. Okay. They are just plowing through. I need to get this deal closed. You going to take $130,000 or not? Right. Well, although that might be a great way to rifle through a bunch of leads or kill a bunch of leads, for lack of a better term, it's not necessarily the best way to stay in their world. So, to answer your question, 17 years restaurant industry taught me, I'll say nearly everything. Okay. At least on an emotional level. Then I became an executive at a company called Clever Investor. Some of you guys may have heard of that. It's a real estate education company that taught people how to invest in real estate. Okay.
Clever Investor, Cody Sperber.
Yes. So I was an executive for him that instead of being in sales, my roles were to oversee our student success. Okay. So I had a very unique role, right? So instead, my job was to make sure after you paid us $10,000 to $30,000, because that's how much it was, my job was now to make sure you were happy. And that was pretty hard to do considering you paid us $10,000 to $30,000.
Yeah.
Give them that money back as quick as possible. Otherwise they're not going to be happy about it. Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's like dealing with that customer sitting at the table that was like, what the F are you?
I got a hair in my food kind of thing. Exactly. Exactly. So I come from really unique. So what's unique about me is I'm not a wholesaler now. I'm a lead generator, but I understand everything. Because I ran this fulfillment department. I oversaw over 2,000 students come through this program. I talked to every single person. Hell, a lot of them asked me for refunds. And guys, I don't say this to say that we have to spend money in education always to do this. I will share with you, I'm not saying go out and get a mentor, I'm not saying don't, but I will share with you guys one thing. Our most successful students at Clever Investor, they all would have done it without us because it was in their hearts, but we just gave them a boost. You know what I mean? So I will say that there was a personality type, there was a perseverance that exists inside people, and they don't always have to pay $30,000. But I will say there's something about that a price point that almost keeps the person engaged, right? You know, like you ever get a free gym membership? Like if you did, you'd probably never go to the gym because it's free. You know, you pay $500 a month for a gym membership. You're gonna be in there every day. You know, I gotta get my money's worth, right? So that was kind of
that's true, man.
Yeah, but so Clever was really amazing for me. So restaurants taught me how to deliver physically, right? I knew systems, processes, training, people, emotions, but I didn't know that I could even deliver those things digitally. Well, when I got brought on at the education company, everyone was remote. Every customer wasn't local. And they wanted it that way, actually. But every customer wasn't local. And it was just amazing for me to see, oh, wow, I can use all these skills I've gained in the restaurant industry and now in a new way. I can deliver digitally. All the systems I've learned. Go ahead.
So Nick, they didn't ever have like an in-house training party or whatever you want to call it. Sometimes they do an in-house event.
So I did throw several events for them, but the events had price points associated with it, and people flew in. Very rarely were people local with us there. They would have an event, but it wasn't a meet and greet. It was like, hey, you're going to spend $7,000 to $15,000, and you're going to fly in to Phoenix, and we're going to educate you, kind of thing. Really cool. I threw all those. I didn't throw them like I was the host, but I was the creator. I scheduled it out. I got all the students to come in. It was really unique. So what I did from there is I took all the complaints, and we had a lot of them. Okay, all the complaints, and I was like, there's got to be a better way. One thing they did at Clever was they charged a lot, and they mainly taught direct mail. And it broke my heart, guys. You heard me talk about my restaurant career. If you didn't like your $9 burger, I was upset about it. Imagine if you didn't like your $30,000 education course.
Yeah.
I'm upset about that too.
Yeah.
That's a big fucking deal. I cared. I wasn't like, well, you shouldn't have signed up. I was more like, well, I was like, well, let's see what we can do. Let's get you the pieces that you're missing. And what I learned was, I believe that one of the main problems was they were just fundamentally teaching people to pursue leads incorrectly. So,
wow.
Wow. And direct mail, no offense, I'm sorry, I don't mean to hurt anyone's feeling, but that is a skill-less endeavor. Okay. It's not hard to go big printing and pay them $4,000. That's not hard. It's not hard to sit by your phone and wait like after a bad date. That's not hard. Okay.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. It's been 48 hours. I haven't heard from her.
Yeah. Right. What's going on? And just so you guys know, this happened. One of our customers paid us $30,000, and she called me up, and she was nearly in tears, and she goes, Nick, I just spent my last $3,000 on a direct mail campaign, and I didn't get one phone call.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it broke my fucking heart.
She's like ready to jump off a bridge, I bet.
Yeah. And what I learned quickly was this. I go to Cody and I go, Cody, the main problem here is even though they're giving their money to Go Big Printing, they think they're giving it to us because we're telling them to go big printing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so they held us financially responsible for any of those additional things. So this is such a true story. I immediately jump into gear and I go, there's got to be a better way. How else can we do this? And
Wow.
I created a cold calling event inside of Clever Investor. Okay.
Wow.
And so everyone started showing up, zero cost, you know.
Yeah.
What's it cost you to dial someone? Fucking nothing. That's what it
Right.
costs you to call somebody, you know. It costs you your time. Now, I'm not saying calling people's easy. I'm not saying it's not scary, but you know, I don't think anything's scarier than spending $3,000
Oh my God.
on a skillless endeavor and praying
Oh God.
that something
Yeah.
happens. At least on the cold call. So some great things happen on a cold call. Well, I'll jump right into those real quick. You know, on a direct mail, here's what could happen. What's that guy want? On a cold call? Oh, hi. Hey. Yeah. Hi. I'm sorry to bother. I'm looking for the owner of 123 Sycamore Street. My favorite response is, who the fuck is this? Well, just so you know, that means you got the right person. Okay. In case
Yeah.
That's a good one.
in case anyone's wondering, you got, you know, I'm sorry. My name's Nicholas. I was wondering, have you ever considered selling before? And here's the difference. No. Well, are you sure? It sounds like you have thought about it. I heard you hesitate there a little bit. Oh, well, you know, actually we have thought about it, but you know, the wife and I, we're not ready right now. Oh, well, why aren't you ready right now? Right? So that's one thing I love about cold calling is it's like hand-to-hand combat, you know. You're like, don't take this, you know, as to where I always joke and I say direct mail is like having a grenade from the 50s and like a zombie apocalypse breaks out and you throw that bitch and you're like, you know, you just hope it goes off. So what happened was I was working at Clever for 3 years. And I'm sure you can tell by some of the comments I've made, ethically, we didn't really see eye to eye. You know, coming from $9 sandwiches to $30,000 courses, and that $30,000 course didn't really deliver very often, you know, it really broke my heart. So I would go back to the team, guys, let's make it better. Let's do this. No, you know, we got to keep selling. We got to keep selling. No, we got to make it better. Okay. Of course, that's what everyone in fulfillment says anyways, you know, the sales guys want to sell more and the fulfillment guys want to fulfill more. So, you know, we're doing these things. Well, over time, I ended up requesting to work from home. Let's just say me and several executives didn't see eye to eye when I was working there. And so I'll say, you know what, this really isn't working out on a relationship level. You know, why don't you send me home? Let me start working from home and I'll complete all of my job responsibilities from there. They actually said yes. Okay. So for those who are still working a 9 to 5 or still in their day job, I'm just want to share one piece of advice with you. You never know until you ask. Okay?
Right.
You know, so many people go, they won't let me work from home. Well, now with COVID, we're all probably working from home, but this was before that, you know, but you know, you never know unless you ask. I took a 50% pay cut and I started working from home every day, which I was super happy with. You know why? Because working from home on salary means I'm in charge of my own time. I went from working 40 hours in the office at 100% pay to now 6 hours a week at home for 50%.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
But you know, my job was which we're going to get into, I'm so great at systems and everything that after I created all this stuff at this company, I didn't have to manage it as intensely. Just like a plumber, you know, the plumber only shows up when a pipe bursts, right? Well, I was the same type of executive. I laid out the groundwork and I only showed up when shit was flowing everywhere. And I was like, oh, I gotta, let me fix the leak, guys. And so I had that same effect. So now I go to them, I ask to work from home. They say yes, miraculously. Then I already knew I was only making $70,000 a year working there, you know, and I already knew that that wasn't it. You know, as a restaurant manager, I told myself, if I could just be an executive somewhere, if I could just do that, that will be it. Then I became an executive and I was like, well, this ain't it. What the fuck? You know, I thought this was it. It ain't, you know, so then now I'm like, well, that's not it. So I start working from home and I make literally 300 to 600 cold calls a day.
Wow.
5 days a week for over 4 months straight.
Jesus.
Okay. I mean, like, because I knew, and the main reason was
you get a gold star from me, man. That's just that's ruthless gutting it out, right?
it was horrible, Justin. And just so you guys all know, and I don't know if you guys are in a Facebook group, but I can share some stuff with you. I actually recorded my first 22 days straight of cold calls ever. Ever. So, dude, I'm bad, bro. I'm like real bad, right? I don't even know what the hell I'm calling about. I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just fucking doing it. Like,
right.
I literally feel like I've got no choice in life right now. This is my only current path at the time. You know, I'm now making half of $70,000 a year, right? I'm working from home. Granted, everything, the bills were okay. Everything was fine, but I still had nothing next. What's next? And you know, and I'm trying to get rich, like all of us are.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So anyways, the calls start happening. I'm crushing it. After my first month, I dialed 7,000 dials. I had 7 properties under contract and over 75 leads to follow up with.
Jeez.
It was amazing. And I sucked. But you know what the good news is about sucking when you're cold calling? If they are still on the phone with you, it means they really do want to sell.
Right.
Right? So that's the one good thing. So I get all these properties under contract and I mean, it's working. Well, I don't stop. I keep cold calling. Well, a friend of mine calls me up. Nick, I see you cold calling. I'm real busy. Could you call for me? Yeah, sure. $150 a week. Another guy calls me up. Nick, I'm busy. Could you call for me? Yeah, $150 a week. Right? And so then I start doing all this. So I get 3 customers. 3. Now I'm getting half of my salary. I've got 3 customers and I've got 1 coaching client. And I'm making about the same now. And I'm still working. I think I'm up to like 12 hours a week now. And I'm making the same as I was at 40 or nearly 60 in the restaurant industry. And I was like, oh, something's happening here. You know, there's something really great's going on. So then I'm really competitive, hyper competitive. One day I wake up and I see a Filipino posted their cold calling service inside of a Facebook group I was in. Right. And like all of us, I hope.
Man.
Yeah, like all of us, you know, I think I'm the best at what I do ever, like in the world. I don't give a shit. I'm the best in the world.
Right.
Right. And so when I see someone else offer a service, I almost feel if I don't offer my service, it's a disservice to my future. Okay. Right.
I love it.
Yeah, it's true. My ego and competitive nature are both that big. But so I swear I make this post one day inside of a group, wholesaling houses full time, which I'm now banned in. If anyone wants, you can say hey to the admin for me, but I'm now banned in that group. But so I make a post in this group and it gets 300 comments and 250 likes. It literally went viral. It must have been written by Jesus himself because I don't remember what I said. All I know is I've never had a response like that to this day on anything I've ever done, ever. So what happened next? 300 people comment their emails. I stay up till 2 a.m. I message every person. Of course, I create a script or whatever. I'm not like typing 300 individual emails, but I'm copying and pasting. And pasting, right? And I send it out to everybody. The next day I wake up, the post was deleted. Now I was like, man, I didn't even know I was breaking the group rules at the time.
Who runs the group, man? I'm just wildly curious because I had a run in with that group yesterday a little bit, and I told them I wasn't interested. I was just, I don't even know who runs it though.
His name is Alex Youngblood.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
And so I wake up and my post was deleted, and I was blessed. You know why? Because I didn't decide to wait to the next fucking day to email 300 people. But
Right.
I want everyone that's watching right now to know, if I would have waited, I would not be here today.
Wow.
Okay? If I would have said,
Yeah.
I'll get to it tomorrow. It's Sunday. It's okay. I'll take the day off. Right? You know, my dream would have been gone. And I'm going to shortcut you guys a little bit. We've done over $2 million in sales since that day at Lead Mine.
Wow.
So I literally would not have made $2 million if I would have waited till the next day, because it was gone. So the next day,
that's a drop the mic moment right there. Just drop the mic, walk off the stage.
Dustin, I still have goosebumps telling that stories but life is like that. If we fucking wait, if we will do it tomorrow, it is going to hurt us. We cannot have that attitude.
Yeah.
You know, it has got to be done. I'm going to call this lead right now, not in 10 minutes, not tomorrow, not after I comp it. It's going to happen now. Right. And so we have to have that attitude. So you guys know me. I called Alex Youngblood. I got his phone number and I was like, what'd you delete my post for? What happened? He explained, I said, well, good news is I emailed everyone. But, you know, him and I were actually good at that time. But I just didn't know what happened. And I was an excited young entrepreneur. But that next day, I woke up and I signed up 20 clients at Lead Mining. And I literally called my job and I quit. I was like, I quit. I'm out. And it was the most amazing thing that could have happened. Now, what we do is we offer 5 different services at Lead Mining. We offer, and I always joke. And quick
question, Nicholas. Yeah. In order to do fulfillment for the new 20 clients, did you go hire the Filipino virtual assistant that you saw the ad for?
Not at all.
That would have been fucking beautiful, man.
Right? No doubt. Well, you know, what I did is so I was first fulfilling everybody myself, and I got up to 5 solo. I was doing everything, invoicing, follow-ups. You know, my first 20 clients, or my first 10, I was doing it all. When I had those 20 sign up, I made a post that same day. We started all American. That was our niche. No Filipinos at all. I didn't start Filipinos till a year ago yesterday. Fun fact.
Wow.
Yeah. We've been open for 2.5 years. So we started all American, which is I think probably why we blew up immediately.
Yeah.
Because no one's heard of it. You know, everyone's like, damn, I've been hiring these Filipino people this whole time. And so my price at the time, here's another fact. I don't know if we have entrepreneurs or just investors here, but I first was only charging people $150 a week for 500 dials. Then my first payroll period came when I had hired employees. And I realized that after I paid everyone, there wasn't anything left for me, you know? And I was like, okay, prices are going up.
You just got to sell more calls, man. That's all. Just sell more.
So that day I raised my price to $200 per 500 dials. And it hasn't gone up in the last 3 years. And I don't plan on it going up at all. But so, you know, it was amazing. Then I hired all these Americans. And just so you guys know, I hired 4 immediately. 2 of them are still with me. One of them, I actually gave a severance pay and asked him to quit because I didn't need him anymore. But, you know, I made sure all of them are still in my life till today. My 2 of them still work for me. I mean, it's crazy that 2.5 years later, you know, that they're still here, kind of thing.
Wow.
So you're able to run Lead Mining with just a handful of employees.
Yeah. So I have right now 3 Americans that work full time, 7 Filipinos that work anywhere from 30 to 50 hours a week. Because right now the Filipino division is larger than the American division, at least as far as dials go, because they are so much cheaper. And I have 2 VAs that do all my administrative work. And then I've got one guy that does all my Facebook ads. I think it comes up to 15 employees or something. But it's amazing.
Wow.
And the cool thing about what we do, and everyone works from home. I'm completely unbothered. I didn't sit outside today because the weather's shit, but I live on the water. Life has been good. It's been life changing. I mean, I can't believe it. What's happened to me.
The beauty of it is the simplicity of it all. I mean, it just makes sense, man.
Right.
How it came together, how it works. It's a beautiful, beautiful machine, man. What an incredible story you just shared with us.
Thank you. And you're exactly right. If you look at the story, like Justin pointed out, it's almost like it was destiny. But it was up for me or us, if you will, to align that destiny. I remember Michael years ago when we first met. I think he was still selling cars. And he comes to me and he goes, Nick, I'm trying to get out of this shit, dude. Like, I'm done with it, bro. Like, I'm working, a car salesman's a lot like a restaurant manager. We're working our asses off. We're not making a lot of money. And damn, are we putting in the blood, sweat, and tears? And I'm sure that my advice to Michael sounded something like this. We've got to look at everything we've ever done in our lives. And we've got to go in a direction that now makes sense to us,
Right.
Michael, you learned a lot selling cars, bro. A lot, right? Now, maybe you may not have learned a lot about selling cars, but you still learn that people say no and people say yes, and that people want this and they don't want that. And, before we know it, we can take our past experience and actually use it to master our next experience.
Yeah.
And that was something that I was really good at. I always said, if I had a superpower, it's this. It's extracting way more experience than there is available out of a situation.
Yeah.
Okay? So whenever I'm in something, I'm like, what did I really learn? What didn't I learn that I should have learned? What's actually happening? So when I extrapolate all that experience, I'm then able to use it towards something else. And that's something I'm great at. But at Lead Mining, we offer 5 different services now. We started off at 3. List pulling, skip tracing, American cold calling. That's what we started off at. Now we offer list pulling, skip tracing, American cold calling, Filipino cold calling, managed texting, which is unique, where we actually text blast for you and my team does all the work. We reply, we talk to them, we ask all the right questions, we pay for the phone number. We pay for the subscription fees. Like, you don't have to do shit except pay us. That's it. People say, what do I got to do to get started? And I go, honestly, just pay me. That's it. You don't need a list. If you got one, that's okay. But you don't need skip tracing. If you got one, that's okay. What you do need is money. Because I don't work for anything other than that. But so skip tracing, text messaging, and we offer Facebook ads now. Well, another big lesson, why do we keep offering more stuff? Because we have to. Honestly, guys, if I showed you my P&L right now, back in the day when I first launched Lead Mining, list pulling, skip tracing, and cold calling, made me almost $10,000 to $15,000 in sales a week. Right now, those 3 things alone probably make me 6, 7. Like, I was forced to innovate. I was forced to find better, more ways. Just how you guys are forced to look into creative financing, and you're forced to look into, maybe I should be a realtor. And you know what I mean? Those are your offloading strategies. Well, mine are lead generation services, right?
Yeah.
So, we gotta remember to keep innovating, because also if I didn't innovate, I again would not be here. I'd probably be some broke ass guy with a couple of Americans that work for him because I was stuck in my ways and we never grew past our first milestone, So now what we do, the cool thing is my team has so much experience. My cold callers, we've done over 3 million cold calls since we've opened 2.5 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, it's It's really crazy, you know? And so like when people hire us, my true vision is that you literally cannot do it for cheaper, even if you did it yourself. If you pay for Mojo Dialer, if you hire a Filipino, even if it's a Filipino, you know, if you put in the time, the work, the effort, everything else, I still don't know if it could be done cheaper yourself. You know, it definitely couldn't be done better. I'm comfortable saying that.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and so now these people that get to hire us, we include the dialer, and with 3 million cold calls of experience, you know, that's nothing that nobody can shortcut. You know,
Yeah.
but yeah, so that's basically, you know, who I am, you know, what we do at lead mining. Yeah, so it's been a hell of a journey.
Nicholas.
And on top of that, I mean, Nick's got 330 positive reviews on his Facebook. Was it your Facebook page or like a whole accumulation of all your?
Yeah. So on
different
Facebook, we've got
channels?
over 200 positive reviews. On Google, we've got 115. You know, one thing I do differently is, if you guys notice, or if you ever want to test it out, the phone number, every phone number you'll ever find goes, there it is, directly to my cell phone. So that phone number in the upper right here, Justin, is actually my cell phone number. You know, that 602-481, that goes right here, bro. You know, you click that, you get, people call me up. I'm like, this is Nicholas. How can I help you? They're like, is this the owner? Oh my God. I can't believe it. You know, our first video is of one of our best clients. Zach here closed 54 deals in 2019 using us. You know, Zach's been with, look at that smile on his face. Boy, he ain't kidding. But, you know, Zach's been with us for 2.5 years, and he's one of my original clients. But, you know, so, you know, really cool things have happened. I'm highly engaged with my customers. I also tell people that, you know, this isn't Walmart. Okay. So after you buy my product, you're going to see me again. Feel free to call me, save my cell phone number. If you need anything, reach out. You know, I'm in the middle of creating a new slogan, but it's going to be, your success is our success, you know, because that's 100% true. But one thing we didn't talk about yet, but is at lead mining, we have no contracts, you know, so you can show up with $100 and we get to work for you, and you can never pay us again. And that's okay with me. You know, I don't prefer that happen. But it's okay.
Nick, I have a question.
Yeah.
How do you, because this is fascinating and I love the enthusiasm, and I'm all about, Justin knows that I'm in Mimica, I'm all about mastering our phones.
Yeah.
Instead of the other, I'm anti, direct mail is kryptonite to me. But so I'm aligned with everything you believe in. How do you take, if you took this panel and half of these people did business with you today, how are we not double dipping on each other if we were infringing in the same area?
So my answer to that is this, Nick, what if we sign up and there's already a customer in my city? I think it's a very simple answer, Kenny. I say, well, I introduce you guys. You know, like I try to kill competition with collaboration. And my honest opinion,
that's great. I love it.
yeah, you know, in my opinion, you know, work with them. Maybe they tackle some zip codes, you tackle other zip codes, and you guys work together to make this happen. I will share with you something that was interesting to me was we were open for 1.5 years before our first markets overlapped, which I think is very interesting. You know,
it's a big ass country. It's a huge country.
Huge country. And, you know, Houston too. I've had customers, Houston, and no one's in the same area. Houston is so fucking big that, you know, almost.
But it is. I mean, people don't realize I'm Houston. So we're in the, we're basically the size of Connecticut.
Yeah. I believe I heard, is Houston the largest landmass city in America? Did I hear that right?
It's 5 million people, but it's Houston and surrounding areas, which you don't drive and have a gap. So you don't know where it stops and starts if you don't live there.
Right. Yeah. No, 10-4. But, you know, so, and that's why I think a lot of people, and also I'll share this fun fact with you guys. We started investing in San Antonio. Okay, just to share with you, all of the big investors I know all live in San Antonio. Aaron Bevins, Mitzi Diane, Quentin Flores, who knows? There's countless others. And then I ended up doing a cold calling campaign in San Antonio, and I got 13 leads on $1,000. How the fuck do I do that whenever it's so saturated, right? And you know, and I'm not saying that markets aren't saturated. That's not what I'm saying. I am saying that we have to be careful with our belief system. Okay? If we tell ourselves it's saturated, we're right. If we tell ourselves we're going to close a deal, we're right. You know?
Exactly.
And, you know, we just have to be very careful with, you know, what we tell ourselves, the information, because it's not what you think it is. And even if, and you know what else I've learned? I've worked with some people who said, Nick, just send me the lead, I'll close it. You know, I work with some people, I'm sure we've all had deals like that with people. You know what I learned? They don't do shit with it. Just like that damn free gym membership we talked about earlier, you know? And you know what? I've called a couple people and I go, look, I'm not doing this game, okay? If you can't respect the leads I'm sending you, I'm not going to send them to you. And I tell the same things to my clients. You know, if you're not going to call every lead that I send you, do not hire me, okay? Because you're going to pay me, and then you're not going to perform well, and then you're going to blame me, okay? You know, like you've got to call everybody. So if it's okay, Justin, the next thing I'd love to jump into is follow-up tactics. Is that cool?
Yeah, man. I'm for real about to start weeping and get down on my knees and ask God to forgive me for not calling all of the damn leads. Like I'm having a religious fucking experience here. Yeah. If this isn't getting your gears going, you're in the wrong fucking business, I think. I mean, this is like a fiery arrow right in your heart, man.
And I can speak on experience with this as well, because Nick and I are in similar businesses, but of course, but Nick's doing it more managed. But I can tell you how many leads I've given to other people that have not called them, followed up. I've never seen a fucking dollar, nothing.
Yeah.
From ever giving someone a lead.
Yeah. I hate JVing with people. And I mean, I didn't start out hating it, but I've progressed to the point where I pretty much hate JVing with people because I know that they're over there laying down in the bed, you know?
Exactly.
And that ain't how business gets done.
It's not. And Nick, I remember when you first started lead mining, I mean, I remember one of the first phone calls I called you up and you were telling me about how you were thinking to structure it. And I think you started off asking for a percentage of the sales. Did you ever see a dollar from that? If so, how did that go?
I'm glad you asked. I had one customer pay me.
Oh my God.
Ever. But you know, you're right. My deal in the beginning was $200 a week or $150, and you give me 10% of the deal. Okay. You know, but you know what though? I also realized that also turns me into a loan shark, you know, yo, where's my money?
Right.
You know,
I want my 10% by Friday or Bruno's going to snap your legs.
Exactly. And you know, I learned that it just didn't work. And what it actually did is it caused people to say yes to the 150 and then never call me ever again forever, ever. Right? Because they're not going to, who's going to call you and say, damn, Nick, I owe you 5 G's. Nobody. That's who's going to fucking
So
call.
You didn't get much repeat business, but what you need is like 100,000 of those guys. Right.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and maybe a couple of them. But so then I decided to go to the strictly pay model, you know, and a lot of people didn't like the 10% thing. And you know what? I don't blame them, you know. And so it kind of grew me into my right direction. But going into follow-up, guys, one thing I got to share with you, and all I do literally 10 times a day, I think I'm going to start charging people for coaching because I just do it all day long for free anyways. But they call me up, and here's what happens. Before people meet me, leads are the hardest thing to come by.
Right.
Hardest thing. How the hell do I get a lead? How the hell? After 2 weeks of using my service, I go, you know, that lead doesn't look hot enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I don't think I'm going to call that one. That one only looks like $5,000, not $30,000, you know, and
Right.
they get into what I call cherry picking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that is excuse my language. What's up, Kenny?
I gotta have that drug high. It doesn't matter because I'll take $3,000 deals and then I'll catch a 30, but I get that drug high and I'm only good to the next deal. It's just like when we were closing car deals and whatever.
Exactly.
Mhm.
That's when you're and Michael, you can relate. That's when you're most powerful is when that printer's moving and you're ready to move on to the next one.
And that's why I think some of us know this maybe from our day jobs, right? You know, you think if a customer came in and only wanted to spend $3, I was like, give them shitty service. You know, no, it's, you know, I've had homeless people come in and sit down in my restaurant and then servers say, Nick, kick them out. Look, I'm not kicking anyone out of the fucking restaurant. We're a fucking restaurant.
Right.
Okay. That's not my job.
You serve.
Yeah, that's right. I'm not the homeless police. He might not even be homeless. He might be some rich ass dude who stinks.
Right.
What the fuck do we know?
Right.
You know? But anyways, hey-o, I know, bro. Let me tell you what, since COVID started, I have a smell about 70% of the time.
Oh my God. I was saying that last night, man. I was like, baby, our couch stinks. I don't know what's something on this couch.
Yeah, exactly. But so, you know, these people, they start cherry picking. Well, guys, I'm going to be honest with you. You know, people say your leads suck. And I go, you must be new to this because all leads suck. Okay. What the hell are you talking about? You know, we can't have that attitude. We have to have the attitude of how can I close every fucking lead?
Right.
Not how can I close every easy lead.
Oh,
right?
Come on. Like an order taker versus a salesperson that knows what they're doing. Right.
Exactly. And so one thing we've learned is we can't even trust what this person says. Guys, I don't know about you, but I can barely trust what my father says half the fucking time, let alone some stranger that I've never talked to before. You know?
Right.
Yeah, oh, the house is in perfect condition. No, it's not. It's okay. It's okay. But so I explain to my customers, don't look at the lead and disqualify them. You have to at least call. I recommend going out and seeing every property, period. That's my true recommendation.
Yeah.
You know, and that's because the property's in perfect condition. If they've been living there for 20 years or owning it for 20 years, they don't see that it's deteriorated because they've been there the whole time. They've owned it. Like I got a dead plant. I should pan over. I got a dead plant. See the leaves sticking out there? Okay, it's dead.
Hold on, man. Show us again, man. The zoom switch the camera to me. Sorry.
No, you're good. That plant over there is dead. I still have it here. Why didn't I throw it away yet?
That's bad feng shui.
Yeah, but my point is when things die slowly, we don't even realize it. So when the property turns to shit slowly, they don't realize it. So you can't trust when someone says perfect condition, okay? You can't trust that. What you can do, here's what I recommend happening. Okay, here's the whole process. I'm actually about to make a course on it. You get the lead in. You read over all the notes. You now follow-up call with the seller, right? And that follow-up call needs to happen within 30 minutes of getting that lead, period. Okay? If that's not your response time, then you're picking up other people's scraps. That's just the math of it. So You got to respond within 30 minutes. Hey, yeah. Hey, I'm sorry. I was just calling to follow up. I saw you spoke to my partner, Sherry, earlier about 123 Sycamore Street. Yeah, hey, I was wondering, I saw that you said you wanted to talk tomorrow at 4 p.m. And I was just confirming that, unless now is a good time. Okay, so
Right.
now you're doing everything. Because when you hire a service like mine where someone else is cold calling, you want to bridge the gap. If I just got off the phone, you now need to successfully get all the rapport we've built up over to you. And I recommend that with that phone call, right?
That's
So
powerful.
yeah, so now I got to call in. Yeah, because we do set a phone appointment up with our clients often. But I still recommend calling immediately, confirming the phone appointment, and then asking them if they're ready right now. And that's because, as many of you know, to get that person back on the phone can be very, very difficult. Okay, so go with your captive audience. Then on this phone call, you're looking for three main things. Why do you really want to sell? Where do you want to go? And what are you going to do with the money? Okay. These three questions allow you to now get creative in structuring. Why do I want to sell? This house is a piece of shit. Or I need to upgrade. Or I'm what's that? Tired landlord, right? Whatever. Where do you want to go? Well, I want to move to New York. Well, how much is the house you're looking at? $500,000. Well, how much do you need? I need about a $50,000 down payment. Okay, so now we can get creative. You need $50,000 to get into your next home, right, sir? Yes. Okay, what's your current mortgage on the property? Right now we can start working real numbers. It's not always about what the house is worth. Sometimes it's about what they want to do with the money.
Exactly.
You know, so
Exactly.
you can solve the money problem and not even talking about the house. Maybe you're talking about the new 2020 Corvette. Who knows? Maybe
Yeah.
it's some rich dude with a shitload of properties and he wants to buy a new supercar. Who cares? You know, you need to find out what it is and help him get there. So that, I recommend that happen on the follow-up phone call after you receive the lead. Next, if that call goes well, now you can hear the inflections for yourself. You can hear their distress level, and you're kind of getting that pacing that I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
What I recommend to all of my clients, treat the sellers like a deer in the woods. Okay. So that's all in the pacing conversation. If I run up on a deer, it's going to get the hell out of here and I'm never going to see the deer again. Okay. If I slowly creep on the son of a bitch, okay, you know, I have a much stronger chance of creating a relationship with that deer. Right. And, you know, and these sellers, they are like wildlife. I'm sure you guys can agree, you know.
Yeah.
It's a lot like wildlife out there. So we're out there, follow up with the lead, understand the seller, understand their timeline, and then schedule an appointment to go see the house. Well, great. You know, Billy Bob, I got all the information I need. Thank you so much for the follow-up call. When's a good time for me to come out and see the property? Or I know some people, they lack creativity. Nick, I'm virtual. When's a good time for my associate to come out and see the property? It's okay. You can work with any curveball you want to. And then they'll tell you. Now, when you go out and see the house, couple things here. I'm going to tell you a little story. One of my favorite clients said this to me. This is what he does. I'll tell you two little tidbits, two little stories that should stick with you because they stuck with me. Number one, he says, Nick, I talk to the homeowner about whatever they want to talk about until they like me. And then I talk to them about what I want to talk about. Okay. So one guy says, I want to rent it. Okay, I'll rent it. Can I come out and see the place? You know? Yeah, come on out and see the place. After he takes a look around and he goes, man, you know, well, would you consider an offer to buy it? You know, you're still
Right.
further in there. You know, oh, you
Yeah.
want to rent it? Buy, boom. You
Right.
just you just lost 5 to 20 G's, right? Just
Yeah.
like that. You know, so that's the one thing I recommend. The next thing is, I love this story, and for those who are older will get it. Remember when we used to buy used cars out of newspapers? Okay.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So I know even I'm old enough to remember that. I know. But when we used to buy used cars out of newspaper, runs great, great condition. Okay. You show up, the windows don't work, the car's got dents in it, there's smoke coming out the exhaust. You know, when you're looking at that and the seller is there, there's no more delusion. You with me?
Yeah.
That runs great, great condition,
Yeah.
just got killed. But you would never know that unless you went out and saw the car. So the house is the same thing. Runs great, great condition. When you get to the house, sir, there's a tree on your house. What are you talking about? Great condition, you know?
Right.
Or, you know, so here's what I recommend doing. And for those that, so those are my two stories, but for those who have seen Seinfeld, there's an episode where Elaine goes to a therapist, and the therapist keeps going like this. Okay. And this is what I recommend you do. This is how you walk the property. So when you go to the in-person appointment, you don't want to insult their home because it's where they live. But I highly recommend you having your clipboard and going,
Yeah.
You know, you don't really want them, you know, you're not really saying shit. Okay.
Become a silent walk around.
And that's right. You know, hey, don't insult their home. Let me tell you, I've had a realtor do that to me. I remember I wanted to list my house once. He comes in, what the fuck's up with the kitchen? What the hell happened here? I'm like, well, get the fuck out of my house. What the fuck are you talking about?
Exactly. Yeah. I don't want you anywhere.
Exactly. But you know, so whenever we do that, and then when we're done with the walkthrough, we now use this list. Well, hey, Jerry, you know, I just got done with the walkthrough. And I mean, you and I both know this property needs some work. You know, I looked through, I saw a couple of things, name them off, no big deal, but then reassure them it's okay. We like properties that are like this. Now, this is going into understanding the emotions of the seller. Yet again, I want you guys to keep in mind, people think they have integrity in the sense that they can't even sell a house unless it's repaired. You with me?
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't want to sell you their, oh man, Nick, the roof's leaking. I can't sell it to you with the leaking roof, Nick. Well, fuck yeah, you can. And that
Sure.
actually makes me want it more. But they
Right.
don't know that. Their internal integrity tells them that they've got to fix this property before they sell it.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
Makes
and
sense.
that also might be why they're telling you it's in perfect condition, because if they were going to sell it, they think they need to repair it.
Right.
Okay? So you use this for your benefit. Look, Joey, just so you know, we love taking down properties like this. This is actually our specialty. This is not a nuisance to us at all. This is what we prefer. You have to create a level of vulnerability in the room where they start going, oh, good, because the foundation's cracked too. Right?
Wow.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
you want to almost flip the whole thing on them and get them so comfy
Yeah.
with you that they're just going to spill the beans about
Yeah.
stuff instead of going, you know, I can't do this. So that's why I recommend not blasting the house, making the list, making some fun noises, being mysterious. And then when it comes time, you hit them with a couple of things. This is also when you're going to explain your benefits. Look, you know, you said you want 300,000. Well, I'll use my house because I know the math. You said you want $500,000 for the house. Well, did you know if you used a realtor, that would cost you anywhere from $20,000 to $30,000 in fees?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I didn't know that. Well, good news with us, you don't have that. So let's minus $30,000 off the price of the house. Let's minus $40,000 in repairs off of the house, right? And what you're doing in this moment is you're poking holes in their valuation of the home. You're getting them ready to, well, I thought we were here. No, you're here. Okay. And so you're kind of preparing them to take a lower lesson. Now, what I recommend doing, depending on you, a lot of people say, Nick, I want to make that offer in person while I'm at the property. Sometimes it's harder for people to say no when you're in person. However, it's also harder to give an offer in person too. So this next part, I recommend you guys decide how you do it, but either make an offer at the end of your walkthrough or go home, wait a day, and then make the offer the next day via email, phone call, or something like that. That's really the follow-up system. Now, I recommend this, I'm not gonna lie, on every property. Okay, if you get a lead, especially from a service like mine, turnkey, we're doing all the work, you're paying good money for it. You know, my service is 100 to 200 bucks a week. I don't give a shit how much money you're making. That's a lot of money. Okay. And so, you know, don't waste that, you know, go out there
Right.
and make the most of it. And so that's the point, is for you to get out there, make an offer. You don't want to get into the mode of cherry picking. This one doesn't look hot enough. This one doesn't look good
Right.
enough.
Right.
You know, worst case, either you're a realtor or your friend's a realtor. Worst case, that's it. You know, if you're that far in the process, they want to sell. And if they don't want to sell to you, you can either be a realtor and take it down for 3%, or you can refer to a realtor and maybe get 10% of their 3%, right? Those are the kind of two options. But, you know, I wanted to cover that with you guys because I think that's one of the biggest gaps, because like I said, before they meet me, lead generation is the problem. After they meet me, follow-up is the problem.
Right.
You know?
Wow. Incredible information, Nicholas. I hope it's okay. I didn't ask you if it was or not, but I'm going to share screens again and go back to your website. I want folks to see here the pricing, and then I want to show them that you offer a free script. This is at leadminingpros.com for anyone watching out there or participating here in the Zoom room. Leadminingpros.com. You can see it right here in the browser. Now it's divided up here in packages: pistol, shotgun, bazooka. I like that. Pacific pistol, overseas shotgun, and Bermuda bazooka. Okay, and here's the Filipino cold calling, and you can see, guys, the prices. Like he was saying earlier, he doesn't know if you could do this cheaper yourself. Honestly, I can concur. I know. I was on the phone this morning with somebody from the VIP room that is paying $1,300 a month and not getting this service right here.
Right.
And this would be what is that? 25% what they're paying for now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is incredible. So definitely check it out at leadminingpros.com. American 250 dials. So it seems to me like it's a no-brainer that if you want to crack your local market, especially if you want to crack your local market, but he also was talking virtual.
Yeah.
But if you want to crack your virtual market, I mean your local market, this seems to me like a no-brainer. Why are we not all doing this already? That's
Right.
Absolutely. And, you know, I love that attitude. And if you guys saw my website, we offer 7 different products, and each product has 3 different tiered packages inside of it. So, you know, I tell people, I used to love create your own adventure books growing up as a kid.
Me too, man. Me too. I was so ashamed of that, but it was like the only book I was willing to read.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you probably got ADHD too. That's probably why. But, you know I do. But, you know, this thing, like, that's what lead mining is. It's your personal create your own lead generation book. You know, you get to decide what works for you. You get to decide how it works. And, you know, not everything hits. You know, I had a new customer call me yesterday. And I had a new customer call me yesterday, and she's brand new. Brand new. Nick, I'm gonna buy you a $160 package. It comes with everything. I'm so excited. I said, look, I'm so excited for you, but do not expect to close a deal after spending $160. Okay? Like,
Right.
I just want to be 100% transparent with you. Like, this is a system. You are gonna learn stuff, but you can trust this. You can trust that that list was cold called with the most experienced team possible cold calling it, period.
Yeah.
You know, you can trust that it's kind of like the people you see on the beach with those metal detectors. It's like, we are the best metal detector you could possibly buy. There's no doubt about it. But it doesn't mean that every time you go to the beach, you're going to find a necklace or you're going to make money off of it. It does mean that you've got some of the best tools. So I really try to explain our services. We're like a sifting pan. Okay. You know, we're going to put the sand in it. You're going to shake the shit out of it. And we're going to see if there's any gold, you know, and we're going to look to see if there's gold. And, you know, and I'm just sharing this with you guys because I'm transparent. I'm not saying you're going to close a deal. I will share this. 13 clients who've signed up with us have closed a deal their very first week with us.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow.
I think it just went up to 14 yesterday because I had another guy tell me he just closed a deal on our first campaign.
Wow.
You know, and that those are just the ones who have shared it, right?
And you guys are 3 million dials deep so far.
Minimum, at least.
So we're not talking about people who just for the first time showed up. I'm picking up the phone. I'm reading a script that Nicholas gave me.
Exactly.
This is not the quality that we're talking about.
Right. And, you know, that being said, I'm sure you guys can tell how amazing I am. Wink, wink. But
we love you, dude. You're awesome.
Thank you, guys. But, you know, my turnover rate is literally 0. I've only fired 2 employees since we started 3 years ago. And other than that, nobody has quit. Now, people might stop working, but no one's quit, if that makes sense. So, you know, I still have a team. My people that have been with me, my Filipinos, they've all been with me for at least a year. And my average American caller has been with me for 2 years right now. Because, you know, what I've created for them is important too. You know, how I manage my employees is just as important as how I make my customers happy. And, you know, my team, they get very consistent pay. I pay them by the hour. I pay my Americans anywhere from $15 to $20 an hour to hop on the phone. You know, they get to work from home. And I always make the joke, clothing is optional. I don't even give a shit, you know?
Right.
You know, and, you know, that kind of freedom, I basically make them employees who feel like entrepreneurs is what I do.
Yeah.
I also don't schedule any of my team members. They all work only when they want to. Now, this is a huge part of our secret sauce. Okay. You know, no one's going, I need to be at the doctor today. I need to be at home with my kid. I need to be whatever. You can do whatever the fuck you want to do. I don't care. Just get the job done. I don't care. So if anyone can't work, I'm not like, why aren't you working today? I'm not a micromanager. I'm not, you know? And so in turn, I've hired the right people. So I've got a really unique distinction that I offer for my employees as well as my customers. And because my cold callers only call when they want to be working, technically means that their morale is through the roof. You know, and whenever they want a cold call, whenever they're cold calling for you, they want to be, not because they have to.
Right. Wow.
You know?
That's big.
Yeah, it is big.
That's big. Leadminingpros.com, guys. We've been here for an hour and 10 minutes, Nicholas, and your time is valuable. Your knowledge, what you've been sharing with us, priceless information, guys and gals. I hope you're catching all this. Catch the replay if you haven't. I wanted to ask you, Nicholas, do you have 5 more minutes that we can open up for the Zoom room here to do a little Q&A?
Absolutely.
Is anybody here in the Zoom room or out there in the internet world? If you're watching, if you have comments, questions, put them in the chat. If you're in the Zoom room here, feel free to unmute your microphone, turn your camera on, and ask any questions you have. Right here, guys, what we have is an opportunity to ask your questions of one of today's cutting edge lead gen master ninjas. Okay. You've got 5 minutes. Don't let it slip away. Who's first? Anybody with a question?
I got a question, Justin.
David.
Nick, how you doing?
Good, man.
Good. I got a question about the cold calling. So I know you said you pay for the dialer and everything. Will we have an opportunity to listen to any of the cold calling so we know how the call went?
Yeah, so that answer, so basically the way things work at LeadMind, the answer is yes, but that is not automated, right? One thing I can't do is I can't automatically deliver call recordings to you. So any customer that wants any recordings, I recommend them do one of two things. Number one, at the end of every week, email us, say, hey, I'd like a handful of recordings from the week so I could see how things went. Or number two, whenever you get a lead, you can just reply to the lead and say, please send me this recording, right?
Oh.
So those are the two strategies I recommend. I believe, my team, we deliver any and everything. We operate in 1000% transparency. We will never say no. It just may not be able to be automated. You may just have to ask for it every time you want it.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Nick.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you guys want, actually, I don't know where I'm going to see if I got it in here. All right, cool. So I'm actually going to drop in the chat just some sample call recordings of our Americans and our Filipinos so you guys can get a feel for them. These are just the, some of the ones that we picked out for when customers ask for samples.
And Justin, if we can put those links in the show notes.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I have leadminingpros.com in the description on YouTube and various other platforms that we're live streaming on. And then I'll go back and add these notes as well. Okay. So if you're catching the replay, look in the description if you want to link to leadminingpros.com or some of these example calls that these cold callers are doing. So you get a real taste of how it works, guys. Good questions.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
absolutely.
Anybody else with a question? Who's next?
You got no questions, huh?
That's what I was thinking, Ed.
Yeah. Well,
You got something, man?
Do I have something?
Are there any other questions, guys? Any other questions?
I got one question. I know that you just gave us a recording about your Filipino cold callers. Now, as far as their English, how do you do they have good English, or do you actually, when you hear them, they're...
So one thing, my constant rebuttal to that is two things. Number one, it's not, their English is great, to answer the question plainly. But the English isn't what stops, sounding English isn't what stops a Filipino from being great. What stops a Filipino from being great is experience, right? So I'll be honest with you, Philip, when I first launched my Filipino team, the first 3 months were a fucking nightmare, dude. They sucked so bad. They didn't even know what HVAC meant. They were pissing off leads. What's that mean? Weird stuff. The good news is, because I've had zero turnover, I always joke and I say, mine have already made all their mistakes, So although English matters, it's not as prevalent as experience or understanding. It's not so much that they speak of the English, but that they understand that.
Yeah. The cultural differences, is this what you're talking about? And the differences in how real estate happens here and their perception of how it happens here, completely different concepts sometimes, right?
Yes, and that can only be taught through massive experience. Another code that we've cracked is we actually have, I don't mean any harm by it, I mean love by it, we have a bunch of gay Filipinos that work for us, okay? And the reason why that's important is you gotta hear these guys, hello, how are you? I'm like, this guy sounds more American than I do, bro.
That's great. That's great.
You'll probably hear that on a couple of the recordings I sent over. So, there's a couple of things that are really beneficial, that happen. Greg, I see you unmuted. You got a question?
Yeah, I unmuted just a minute ago. Two things. Are you primarily, I think most of us are doing lease options.
Okay.
So is that something that you do have a focus on, or are you focused on wholesaling, or what's your direction, first of all? And then secondly, between the return on investment with American versus Filipino, which is better?
Perfect. I'm perfect. Like, I was going to cover that if no one asked, but you're exactly right. So the first question of lease option, where we're at now, honestly, guys, we have so much experience cold calling. I joke and say real estate's not our niche anymore. Cold calling's our niche. It doesn't matter what we're calling on. What I do know about a lease option is I believe your lists are a little different. Isn't that right? You guys don't normally call absentee homeowners. You're normally calling, is it like expired listings or something like that? Or am I thinking something?
Yeah. FSBOs and for rents, we pull a lot of Craigslist data. That's what I generally recommend.
Yes.
I mean, normally I say text blast, and then anyone that responds positively, I consider a lead. But yeah, I mean, it expired is definitely one of those.
Gotcha. So yes, we do attack those. The difference is getting the list. So if you can bring us a list, we can absolutely execute on it. The only lists we provide at Lead Mining are absentee homeowners, owner occupieds, and cash buyers. Now, we only produce those 3 lists because of accuracy. They're the only 3 lists that I trust die hard, that they're going to be 100% accurate for you. I used to offer vacants, and then people would call me up and be like, Nick, I drove by this house and somebody lives there. It's not vacant. Oh, fuck, dude. Like, I don't know what you want me to tell you, bro. But you know what? But the truth is, I don't want complaints on anything. So I stopped carrying it. I don't give a shit. I don't want anyone complaining about anything. So the next question is ROI. So the way it works like this: the Americans average 2 to 6 leads per 500 dials. That scales up infinitely. We've got 3 years of data that proves that. The Filipinos average 1 to 4 leads per 500 dials. Okay? So when we're looking at this stuff, we have to see that, but the Americans are also twice as expensive. Okay? So you get twice the result for twice the cost. So what I recommend doing is, if you have a more niche targeted list, a more finite number, if you will, then I recommend the Americans. If you have a shitload like absentees, Nick, I got 60,000. Well, let's put the Filipinos on that. Okay? They're half the price. They're half the price, which means they can go twice as far for the same investment, But if I only have a couple, we should put the Americans on it. Now, if you're in Texas, I probably wouldn't use a Filipino. Okay. But that is the only place that I would say that at. If you're in other, like Phoenix, Arizona. So for example, I know the owners of Batch Skip Tracing, and they showed me visually, I saw it with my own eyes, 240,000 dials a week into the Phoenix market. 240,000 dials a week, and they're only getting a 3% contact rate. I've never seen that so horrible in my life, but they don't even care, because they make so much money from the skip tracing company. They just dump it all into the investing side. But in the market like that, I say hire a Filipino, because they have Filipinos anyway. So you're kind of 1 for 1, if that makes sense. So if it's super saturated, I also normally recommend a Filipino. And that's because since they are half the price, If I don't want you to spend twice as much for an American and get the same result that you would if you had a Filipino, you know? And I know that you rarely hear people tell you buy the cheaper product, but that is often my advice.
And the reality is as well, and you didn't really mention this right off the bat, but like, let's say we were to go and hire our own cold caller, right? I might pay a Filipino $3 an hour. I'm going to pay an American, a good American, probably 12 to 15, maybe $20 an hour. Like Nick, he's paying 5 times as much to have these guys on the phones.
Yeah.
He's only charging twice as much. You know what I mean? That's something you got to keep in mind.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, you know, and my Americans, let me tell you, man, these guys, like, they are so good. I got this girl named Sherry, who, let me tell you, Sherry was sent from the heavens to cold call for me.
Wow.
She's like my Excalibur. She's like my sword in the fucking, you know. I am like so thankful to have her. She's got 4 kids. She works 50 to 60 hours a week for me.
Wow.
She is just a monster. And dude, she owns it like no one I've ever seen before. You know, and so, you know, she's on the American side. But, you know, you're exactly right, Michael. You know, there's a lot that goes into this. And the experience, there's a lot to be said for that. And the cool thing about us, like you heard my story, I almost did 22,000 dials myself before I passed it off. So I'm not, and now I'll tell you guys the difference between me and my competitors, okay? My competitors are normally a celebrity face and a Filipino backbone, okay? They're not, I've trained all of my people on my system that I created. Like Brent Daniels and his company, Call Motivated Sellers, not only do they ask you for $3,000 up front for the first month, but they're not really trained by Brent. Brent's just putting his face on top of somebody else's company, and he's charging a markup for those services.
Yeah.
So, and I share that with you to say, I think there's a big difference between going to Amazon and then going to Amazon's knockoff, right?
Yeah.
And I think some of these guys are not, it's not Brent's business. It's not Max Maxwell's business. It's a company he uses his celebrity likeness to make money.
it's a white label, basically.
Right. And with me, I'm the opposite. I'm actually becoming a celebrity through the services delivered. They became a celebrity through other things and then decided to offer services, you know? So that's one of the key differences. So when there's something that goes wrong, and like I told all you guys, anyone can test that phone number on the website. It goes right here. So another big perk is when something happens, you don't have to talk to a Filipino to figure it out now. You're talking to me, who's experienced, who's a CEO, who owns his own business, and who's coached 1,700 other real estate investors. So I know your pains, I know their pains, and I know how to solve the problem. Whoever's hired a Filipino, I don't know if you've had the pleasure of giving them feedback before, but but you know, that's not a fun task, you know. And so with us, the cool thing is you just come to me, you give it to me, I handle the management and the fixing of whatever the situation might be.
So Nicholas, we got a question in YouTube. It's how often, and this is for those of us that need just to keep it super simple. How often, what package do you recommend we look at? And how often should we plan on ordering to create that consistency for our business? Does that make sense?
My answer is always this. You do what you can afford to be most consistent at. Okay? That is the real truth. Now, if you can't do that yet, which I can sympathize with, if you can't do that yet, one of my newest clients, I couldn't believe it. And guys, I was scared for him. This guy messaged me. We've been talking for months. He's never done real estate. He's been wanting to do it. He's wanting to crack into it. He's been telling me how broke he is. And then one day he placed a $940 order. He bought the bazooka package with the American cold calls. Okay.
Nice.
And guys, I'll be honest with you, because I know not every purchase gets a deal closed. I was like this for him. Oh my God. I was so freaking scared.
I know the feeling. Yeah.
Yeah. And do I have screen share capabilities here?
Yeah. Go for it, brother.
Okay. So I'm just because I don't even want you guys to think it's a story. I just want to show you the truth. Okay. Forgive me, I have an ultra wide monitor, so it might look weird on your screen. But this guy messages me and says, I'm crazy. I didn't hear from him for a month. Okay. I'm crazy happy with my last purchase. The last list generated some good leads, and I'm closing a deal on Monday.
Wow.
And I got 2 cash buyers from it. To be exact, one of the cash buyers from the list is buying the property I got from the same list.
Wow. Wow. Right
Okay.
there.
Yeah.
Bought and sold with the same money.
So this guy paid me. Now, again, I'm not here to tell you that happens every time, but I am here to say, if you are going to go in and you can just go in once, I do recommend going in for the biggest one you can afford, for 2 reasons. Number one, or probably just one reason, but the bigger the package, the cheaper it is. So if you can make that one bulk purchase, like that $940 package I have, if you were to buy everything individually, it cost you $1,100. That may not be a big deal, but if you do that 4 times a month, if you do that weekly, all of a sudden you're saving $550 a month, from buying things individually. And that's just my prices, let alone if you were to go out and use PropStream or Listability or one of those other sources. So to repeat the answer, I recommend you doing what your budget can sustain the most consistently. However, if you're looking for a one lump bump, that's going to be the name of my next package, the one lump bump, then I recommend you checking out one of our larger packages and just following, honestly, guys, I was so scared for Tyler. I knew him. I was coaching him. I was helping him with the leads. And I was just really had my fingers crossed that was just yesterday. He sent that. And when that happened, I was like, okay, now we're on to something. So,
yeah.
So that's kind of my answer for that, gentleman.
I have a question, Nick. So when you guys get on the phone, you have that conversation, you verify it as a lead, and now you've passed it over to the investor, the wholesaler, whomever it is.
Yeah.
At that point, let's say I call that lead, and let's say I don't reach them. I leave a voicemail, send a text, maybe an email. How many times do you recommend the group here to follow up with that lead? Because I say until the end of the earth, but I mean, what have you found to?
Well, I'm just going to share a story with you guys. Okay.
Yeah.
One of the first contracts I had of the 7 contracts from my first month of cold calling, the guy was amazing. He was a tired landlord. He made all the money off the house. He didn't want it anymore. He was out. I'm out. I don't want it. Then he didn't answer our calls for a month. We called him every day for a month. Every day. You know what? Fuck it. Every day. Fuck it. Let's call Joe. Fuck it. Let's call Joe. Fuck it. Let's call Joe. After a month, Joe picks up. And here I am thinking this guy's going to blast us like a son of a bitch. Who the fuck? What do you think you're doing calling us so much? Because that's what we tell ourselves, right? That's
right.
I'm annoying this person. This is where we have to change our self-talk. Joe picked up and he said, guys, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry I've not been available. I still want to do this deal with you. My son was in a horrible accident.
Oh.
And I've been at the hospital dealing with him every day. But I am so glad to see that you guys have been calling me and following up, and I am sorry. If you could give me a week and then, let's go from there. He's about to get out of the hospital. So, I think you're right, Michael. I think, the answer is if you had a great conversation, don't ever give up, you know, especially if you've had a great conversation. You know, I mean, I really would pursue this guy. You want to text them, call them, then text them, text, then call, then text, then call, then wait a day and do the thing. And, you know, and you don't ever want to lose your cool. You don't ever want to get nasty like, listen, you son of a bitch, you should have never talked to me if you didn't plan on doing it. Don't ever let those tones enter your mind. You're there to provide them a service. Hey, I know life gets busy. Let me know whenever you get time. Boom. Almost like you're giving them excuses. That's okay. That's what they need. These people, the thing about distressed properties, you guys might be able to finish this sentence for me, but behind every distressed property is also a distressed person.
Right.
Okay. So like, you've got to understand they don't have their life together. Things aren't going well. They might not be good at answering their phone. Shit, their phone might even be disconnected tomorrow and then reactivated the next day.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they're in a bad spot. So
Mhm.
just keep that in mind. Again, it goes back to one of the first things I said. Don't be so consumed with with your experience that you're ignoring what they could be going through.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
100% agree, man. And at the end of the day, I would rather lose a deal from calling them too much than not enough, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you'd rather lose a deal because they wanted you to lose it rather than losing a deal because you were too lazy. No offense.
Grant Cardone said, you know, if I'm going to lose a deal, I want to lose it on my fucking terms. Right?
Yeah.
That's the reality,
Yeah.
you know, and at least you got your money's worth.
Yeah. And you know
Yeah.
what, guys, if you're polite, if you're nice, I don't care if it's a 6,000 phone call, you know, maybe they think when they pick up, you're going to yell at them for them dodging you. Who knows
Right.
the emotions that everyone's going through?
Yeah.
That's why you got to text nice messages. You can never stop being sweet. You
Yeah.
know?
Absolutely.
Great advice today from Nicholas Nick of leadminingpros.com. We've been here for about an hour and a half, Nick. I can't thank you enough, sir. Thank you so much for everything you've contributed to us today. If you're out there, you better go check out Lead Mining Pros. This is really, I know it to be already the answer that a lot of us are looking for, frankly. When the phone weighs 10,000 pounds and it's like, oh, I got a cold call, I can't pick it up even. It's too heavy. Well, Nicholas doesn't have that hang up, him and his team. So a great way to get this moving in your business is to put it into the hands of somebody who's over 3 million cold calls deep and knows what they're doing. Okay. So, Nicholas, thank you so much, dude. I really appreciate you being here, man. It's been a great show. I'm going to have to get an affiliate link because, man, I am hype on you.
And I was just making one for you guys. Michael asked me to make one. It's actually completed.
Awesome, bro. Thank you.
And so I can send that over to you guys. You know, no doubt about it. Thank you so much for you know, having me here. And guys, I'm a resource. Okay. You know, one of the reasons I've gotten so successful and I was able to buy the house on the water and stuff is because I am a resource. I'm not a salesman. Okay. So that being said, anyone here needs something. You want to talk about something. You just want to pick my brain. Just like in this meeting, guys, I'm not saying I got to go. I'm not saying I got another meeting to go to.
Yeah.
I'm not saying any of that shit because I'm here for you and I'm here for you, whether it's today or you guys call me, you know, so don't hesitate to reach out. You know, whether you want to buy or just quiz me, you know, I don't care. You know, use me. Let's create a relationship together.
But if I got my credit card in my hand and I'm over at leadminingpros.com and I just can't decide which one is the right one for me, is there a trigger I can pull on the website that gets me in contact with you, or how would I go about doing that? If I need just a little bit of direction, hey, I think this would fit you. Let's start here. Let's do this. Right. Is that possible for us, Nicholas?
Absolutely. So that my cell phone number is on the site, and the top button that says message us.
Yes.
So it brings you right to my Facebook business page, and I'm the only one that manages that. So when it says message us, you go to my Facebook business page. You can
Okay.
message me directly on Facebook. I'll be with you in less than 20 minutes, or you can call me and I'll be with you that very second. So
Okay.
I am hyper
Wow.
available. I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, guys, you heard it here. Let me recap. If you're a bartender, if you're a cocktail waitress, if you're a bouncer in a club, if you're the general manager, it doesn't matter. If you've sold cars, whatever you're doing, embrace that uncertain future that you're dreaming about,
Yeah.
right? And partner up with some people who can help you move the ball forward, like Nick at Lead Mining Pros. Awesome session today, guys. Did you guys get something out of that? Everybody here get something out of that? I know you did. It was
Absolutely.
really good stuff.
If you guys are in St. Pete, if you go down to vacation in St. Pete, Nick, what's your other business? You got a cool
Yeah.
touring company or something like that.
Yeah,
Tell the folks about that.
I do kayak rentals. That's right. So since I bought the house on the water, I was like, how do I make more money? Fucking rent out kayaks. That's how I make more money. So I got like 10 kayaks and I got a bunch of friends, and I really got it for me and my friends, but now I just rent it out to people, probably make an extra couple $100 a week. It's a great time. But he's right. If anyone's ever in St. Petersburg, Florida, or the Tampa area, I love having people over to the house. You guys can have a chance to meet. I do. I'm huge on relationships. Relationships lead to
Nick's
sales.
got a personal chef that became a good friend of his now. You know?
I got a personal chef, so when people come over and they hang out with me for the day, he cooks for us. It's an experience. It's like Disney for adults over here.
That's incredible.
That's huge, man.
I also heard St. Petersburg is one of the most haunted towns in America. Is that right?
Really? I don't know. Yeah, I'm new here. What was that?
What was it? Yeah, exactly.
So Nick's got kayaks, and do you rent the one wheels and stuff, or is that just gonna hang out with Nick session?
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. But I got kayaks, one wheels, electric bikes, paddle boards. I am a very adventurous person. I have severe ADHD, so I have to have a lot of shit to keep me busy around the house. But yeah, if anyone's in the area, really don't hesitate. I'd love to meet you face to face.
LeadMiningPros.com. Nick, hey, thank you, sir. Everybody have a blessed rest of your weekend. You can check us out at realestatewholesalersclub.com too if you want. But we'll see you again next Saturday, everybody, at the hashtag Shut Up Money Show. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everybody.
This was amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, everybody, take care.
LeadMiningPros.com. Get some.
Let's go.